Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your mayor, Kim Maggard.
Thank you all for joining us tonight at this outstanding facility. And every time I walk through these doors, I'm amazed by the dynamic difference made to this wonderful place. And I'd like to thank Brad Wasserstrom and the entire Wasserstrom Company for their vision and hard work in helping transform this stretch along Broad Street and for hosting this annual event for a second year. Thank you, Brad. Now, before we get started tonight, I would like to recognize our elected officials. And if you all would stand, and this also includes members of the Whitehall City Board of Education, any elected officials from the county or state, and also city council as well, city officials. So please stand up. You know, we're so fortunate that we have elected officials from all over the region that support Whitehall and work with us in partnering relationships. We really appreciate that. But before we go on, I'd also like to ask any appointed members of boards and commissions from the City of Whitehall to please stand so they can be recognized. Thank you. Thank you so much for your hard work. Now, the city was fortunate to have a number of public servants who went over and beyond the call of duty throughout last year. However, a few of those employees rose to the top and were named the 2018 City of Whitehall Employees of the Year. These were the Division of Fire's community paramedic Randy Jones. Please stand. Police Detective Anthony McKittrick, please stand. Victim Services Coordinator Lorena Lacey, please stand. And the City Maintenance Technician Ty Peterson, please stand. Thank you so much for all your hard work. There were tremendous amounts of projects, programs, and new initiatives to celebrate last year in our community. From new playgrounds and helping residents fix up their homes, to tackling the opioid crisis and breaking ground on new developments, last year brought improvements you were able to participate in or watch take shape every day throughout the year. And the rest of the Central Ohio is just now starting to wake up and realize what we've known for a number of years now, that there are endless opportunities for everyone being created here in Whitehall. Having the resources to implement the types of programs that improve our citizens' lives and create a buzz throughout the region begins with fiscal responsibility. And once again, I am proud to serve with our city council and city administrators such as Dan Miller to maintain a solid fiscal balance sheet. 2018 was a robust year with respect to revenue. City income tax revenue increased by 9% over 2017. And since becoming mayor in 2012, we've added more than $228 million of taxable income, payroll, business profit, etc., inside the city, which has generated $5.7 million in new annual revenue. Now, a portion, that's something to talk about. A portion of this new revenue has been used to create new and exciting opportunities within our Parks and Recreation system. The most significant being through our partnership with the YMCA of Central Ohio. In October, we invited our residents and children to help us break ground on the Whitehall Community Park, YMCA, and the excitement that day was everywhere. Since then, architects and construction crews have begun to work to expand and recondition the former activity building, which you may have noticed now is being surrounded by construction fencing. In addition, the Community Park YMCA's Joint Program Advisory Committee has been gathering community input and is excited to guide the development of offerings at this premier facility. Once again, this 24,000 square foot center will feature robust summer programs for youth, after-school programs for our middle school students, and host life and job skill development classes alongside a new fitness facility, renovated instructional kitchen, and 4,000 square feet of indoor turf. This is truly going to be a hub for our community in which they can learn and be fit and gather. With work on the Community Park YMCA underway, the Parks and Recreation Department dove headfirst into transforming the rest of the park. We enhanced the park entrance and created a traffic loop to improve vehicular and pedestrian flow into the park. New play areas, accessible structures, trails, and shelters featured in the upper level create engaging experiences for families and all kinds of get-togethers. The new 6+ acre meadow below, now accessible by cars, is thriving. We have soft trails and labyrinths inviting you to explore. And with more than 30 years of invasive species growth having been eliminated along the park's upper edges and Big Walnut Creek, we have reclaimed more than 8 acres of land for our visitors and residents to enjoy. 2018's improvements were just the beginning for Whitehall Community Park, and later this spring, we're going to need your help. On April 13th, we invite you to our first Friends of the Park event. We're going to help plant 600 saplings and shrubs and restore our native understory. Without your help, this will take us weeks. So we hope that as many of you as possible can come and help that day. In addition to the reforesting efforts along the YMCA construction, you will also notice our work restoring the drainage creek that separated the northern part of Whitehall Community Park and the former driving range site. I'm so thankful for the nearly $480,000 the city was awarded by the Clean Ohio Conservation Funding. Once this project is complete, it will restructure the water flow and create a more natural flow into this area of the park. Whitehall Community Park was not the only park to garner attention this year. Please join me in welcoming Shannon Sorrell, our Director of Parks and Recreation, to provide us an update.
It is a pleasure to serve along leadership with such vision and dedication to seeing through investments which improve opportunities for everyone in Whitehall. We hope that each of you here have taken an opportunity to enjoy your new facilities and programs as the city's investments extend well beyond Whitehall Community Park. In Robinwood, Lambie Lane, John Bishop, and Norton Field Parks, each of these areas have beautiful new play spaces, and more than $650,000 has been invested to create these engaging, inclusive areas. At the John Bishop Park opening, it was great to see grandparents with walkers playing alongside their grandbabies. And what's great is that the play area at Whitehall Community Park serves not only as an accessible play area, but doubles as a fitness feature for adults in our community as well. Another really exciting development this past year has been the announcement that we are growing the number of parks here in Whitehall by adding the city's first dog park. This park will provide a safe place to run your furry friends off leash and to socialize with fellow dog owners. We are taking the rest of 2019 to work with our neighbors, with dog owners, community stakeholders, and anyone else and every one of you here to design this amazing new space. So if this sounds like something you want to be a part of, please keep an ear out for our soon-to-be scheduled next planning meeting to be announced for here in April. So also in 2018, your Parks and Recreation Department worked with partners to bring new experiences to even more residents, including park parties, concerts, art programs, nature programs, preschool outreach, archery, and senior trips. One of the coolest new programs was created by partnering with Whitehall's youth and teens. Whitehall Weekend began on Friday night with a movie. Saturday, everyone enjoyed our food truck festival. And Sunday at John Bishop Park, the basketball courts hosted a 3-on-3 tournament. Over 150 youth came out to participate in this afternoon's event. And our amazing police department, thank you, even joined in on the fun this day. Now, if you want something spectacular to do in 2019, you can do it with Whitehall Parks and Recreation. This Saturday, our winner's last family and adult art series programs will be held, and you can learn watercolor basics alongside a great instructor. And as the mayor mentioned, on April 13th, we would love for each of you to come out and plant there's 100 of you here, 6 trees apiece, that's all we need, and help us plant native trees and shrubs. So go to our website and sign up, and all the information you need is here. The coolest fire chief in the country will be teaching us to build rockets again on May 3rd. And also on May 3rd, COSI will be in Whitehall Community Park for our citywide star party. This year's Music in the Park features some of the region's best bands. So at 6:30 each Sunday, bring your blankets and side dishes, and we will grill the hot dogs and have the best tunes around. Also, make sure your 10 and unders bring their swimsuits, because this year we'll be keeping the splash pad open through the event each Sunday. More than 600 people joined us for Moana, our first movie under the moonlight event. The event was such an overwhelming success that this summer we're featuring 3 family-friendly movies in John Bishop Park. So go online now and vote and help us decide what movies we'll all watch together this summer. Coming up on June 2nd, June 12th, and July 10th, come out for your neighborhood park parties. This year, each party features a special theme, including I Spy, Farm Fun, and a Field of Magic. And as always, keep an eye on our website as new things come up, and to register for our Backyard Rain Garden series, and to release monarch butterflies later in the summer with us. And finally, if you were not aware, Whitehall students can join the Parks and Recreation Department, our high school coaches and students and athletes, as well as COSI, Little Medical School, The Works, and Gym Skills for summer camps that we offer at just $25 a week for our residents. This is truly the most exciting and financially accessible summer camp around. We thank you for your interest in our parks and participation in all of our programs. Without your support, we could not make these things happen. And I look forward to personally seeing many of you in our parks this year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shannon, for your and your department's dedication to increasing opportunities for everyone in our park system. And I'm so pleased the work that you and your staff are doing. It's not going unnoticed. It's noticed every day. In fact, the Parks Department was once again recognized by industry experts and their peers at the Ohio Parks and Recreation Association for their incredible work for their entire team. The Whitehall Parks and Recreation Department received awards for their 3-on-3 basketball tournament, the Whitehall Community Parks Revitalization Plan, Whitehall Weekend, and the Park Endowment Fund. Now, please join me again in congratulating Parks and Recreation Department and their director. Not only as mayor, but also as a resident who loves the city and the sense of our community, I want to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to feel safe in Whitehall. That's so important. Our collective efforts to improve public safety through smart, data-driven investments and the strategic Safer Whitehall initiative really took shape in the past year. And to promote the new initiative, Whitehall's Division of Police Chief Mike Crispin has hosted numerous Safer Town Hall meetings to allow residents to become active members and participants in making Whitehall a safer place. In addition, it also gave a platform to discuss important issues such as domestic violence, identity fraud, and human trafficking. I encourage everyone to attend one of these town halls, not only for the information about what's going on in our city, but also to build a relationship with our Whitehall Police Department. The incredible dedication and hard work of the men and women of the police department never, ever ceases to amaze me. Since the Safer Whitehall initiative was implemented, violent crime in Whitehall has decreased by 31%. Robberies have decreased by 47%, and burglaries have decreased by 41%. Thank you. These are unprecedented improvements in public safety, and to share with you a little more about further improvements and how everyone has an opportunity and role to make Whitehall a safer place, please welcome Chief Crispin.
Well, good evening, and thank you, Mayor Maggard, and particularly for your support for public safety and the police department in particular. That support has led to one of the most successful narcotics units in Central Ohio, with the seizure of nearly $3 million last year worth of illegal guns, cash, drugs that were all destined, and weapons that were destined for our streets. In 2018, we completed the development of our first canine unit with 4 canines, 1 a bomb dog, and 3 drug dogs. And under the leadership of Sergeant Dan Wardlow, last year this new unit was deployed 289 times. That's pretty unprecedented for a unit that quick. They were deployed for narcotics, crowd control, SWAT missions, building searches, and finding missing articles. And one comical story, the officers were deployed to go after individuals who were breaking into cars and stealing cars. Naturally, as the officers arrived, the bad guys ran. I think Canine Zara was a little bit faster, and Canine Zara managed to get one treed, if you want to say that, in an urban area, but on top of a roof of a vehicle. I think he was very, very pleased and happy when the officers finally arrived and put him in handcuffs and got him away from that dog. Our Detective Bureau investigated over 1,200 cases in 2018 under the leadership of Sergeant John Greb, and they were instrumental in several apprehensions, including some of those juveniles I just mentioned, on the numerous car thefts and damages to our car lots, including a successful investigation of our homicide last year and a bank robbery. Building on our successes in 2017, where the city had seen unprecedented low numbers in crime rate, and specifically violent crime, robberies, and burglaries, our first line of defense, as I like to call them, which is our road patrol officers, continued the success to build on it in 2018, as the mayor just said, and they furthered those 2017 statistics. And so, as the mayor said, since that initiative, crime rate is down, or violent crime is down 30%, and robberies and burglaries, as you saw, almost cut in half. And they're not done, I'm sure. Lastly, in 2018, we became the very first suburb in Central Ohio to outfit the entire agency in body cameras. We have a very dedicated and professional group of police officers who welcome the transparency of their operations. These cameras have helped demonstrate the integrity of our department and help build trust with you, the community. And in fact, complaints have gone down since the implementing of this program, and 2 of them sort of come to mind were cases where we were able to prove blatantly false but very, very serious allegations made against our police officers. These cameras serve to protect our officers from these types of allegations and to ensure to you, the public, that your police department and your officers are meeting the expectations that they be leaders in excellence in policing. We could not be successful in this effort without the support of the mayor's office, city council, but most importantly, you, the community. So I look forward to seeing you April 10th, next town hall meeting, and ask you between now and then to ask yourself, what will you do to make Whitehall a safer place? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Crispin, and to all of our officers for upholding the integrity of our police force while improving the safety of the city. We so appreciate that. The Whitehall Division of Fire has always had a tremendous reputation providing excellent service and, in many cases, life-saving services. And as you may remember from last year's State of the City, I discussed how through a partnership with Franklin County Office of Justice Policy and Programming, the division received a $400,000 federal grant to provide additional services and the opportunity to help those addicted to opioids receive the help that they need. One way we utilized those funds was through the implementation of the Division of Fire's Safe Station program. SAFE stands for Stopping Addiction for Everyone, the first of its kind in Ohio. If an opioid abuser walks into the fire department at any time, they will immediately be taken to a treatment care facility, usually within an hour. This grant has allowed the Safe Station program to grow and to help so many. And alongside other initiatives, like our new Mayor's Drug Court, spearheaded by the work of City Attorney Michael Bivens, we are making a difference in our community. And to further discuss the work of this grant and the department's other accomplishments, I'd like to invite Chief Preston Moore to the podium.
Thank you, Mayor. From 1999 to 2016, more than 350,000 Americans have died from an overdose involving an opioid. This includes both prescription and illicit opioids. On average, 115 Americans die every day from an opioid overdose, which equates to 1 American life lost every 12 minutes. Ohio has the second highest drug overdose death rate in the United States, double the national average. In conjunction with the mayor's office, the city attorney, and the Division of Police, the funding from the federal grant the mayor mentioned will allow us to reduce opioid misuse and the number of overdose fatalities in Whitehall. A special mayor's drug court for defendants participating in diversion to incarceration programs is another important piece of solving this problem. The Whitehall Division of Fire is part of a three-pronged approach to helping its jurisdiction and surrounding areas battle the epidemic. These efforts, combined with aggressive policing by local law enforcement, have thus far begun to decrease the frequency of overdoses within the community. Program components encompass three basic principles: education, harm reduction, and prevention. Harm reduction measures were introduced at town hall meetings and at the firehouse itself. Additionally, the division received visits from Senator Portman and the U.S. Surgeon General, both of whom stated that our programming was the best model they'd seen in the country. Partnering with Franklin County Department of Health, the Division of Fire distributed naloxone at each of the town hall meetings. Ensuring members of the community would understand how to use the medication, they are then distributed much like we would smoke or carbon monoxide detectors. Very few fire departments in the state of Ohio or the United States have deployed such an aggressive model of prevention. The Safe Station model has been very successful in facilitating those suffering from addiction to enter into a detox program. In the first 6 months, the Safe Station program transported almost 400 patients. Of these, more than 50. I get choked up when I talk about this part. Sorry. 50% completed detox, or some length of residential stay from 7 to 28 days and have been linked to sober living, recovery housing, or another agency where they completed intensive outpatient treatment for their addiction. The program far exceeded our hopes in 2018, and we're eager to help more in 2019. Apologize for getting... We're helping a lot of folks out there, so.
You know, that's just an example of how the city cares about our citizens, but also our neighbors around us. And when you have a fire chief who can get up there and talk about this, and he is emotionally invested in these individuals. And I want to say thank you so much, Chief, because unless you're not emotionally invested, we're not going to have successes, and we are having those. Thank you. Now, it's not every day that a community the size of Whitehall gets to welcome the United States Surgeon General to showcase how the positive results of our program stand out nationwide. And this ripple effect of this program continues to spread. Speaking of ripple effects, improving the strength of our neighborhoods while increasing opportunities for everyone will certainly qualify, and that's what we're doing. Our innovative and comprehensive approach has been at the forefront of the redevelopment efforts over the last 7 years and continues to produce positive results. Now, with such a close proximity to John Glenn Airport, I-270, and the continued investment in the quality of life offerings, it's no surprise our housing stock is seeing such a revitalization. With new and existing homeowners, and we are increasing home ownership rates and values. The 2018 Home Reinvestment Program for current homeowners added nearly 24 Whitehall homeowners with more than $120,000 in improvement projects, bringing our total over the last 4 years to more than $500,000 worth of improvements for our residents. And that ripple effect continues to grow. A recent report by the Columbus Dispatch showed home prices in 2018 versus the previous year rose faster in the city of Whitehall than any other central Ohio suburb, for an increase of 15%. And I think that deserves an applause. And while home prices and values continue to rise, we are also working to ensure that we are providing opportunities for our much-needed workforce and affordable housing units. We currently are working closely with Homeport to create 140 workforce and senior affordable housing units on Etna Road. Developments like this will put us ahead of the game in a region where the population grew by 127 people every day last year, and where our housing market is getting more and more competitive. In addition to our new homeowners investing in Whitehall, businesses continue to follow suit. All in all, 35 new businesses opened their door in this city last year, and most of these were small businesses, like Lighthouse Behavioral Health Solutions, Reach Care Pharmacy, Fired Up Pizza, and Wolfson Insurance Agency, just to name a few. The strength of our business community is built on the foundation of small businesses that select Whitehall as their home, and we value their contribution. Last year, I had the opportunity to join members of the Whitehall Area Chamber of Commerce and our development staff as they visited and thanked more than 50 of our small businesses during the annual Small Business Week in May. In addition to new companies coming to Whitehall, existing businesses are choosing to expand and relocate within Whitehall as well. Businesses like Express Employment Professionals, who moved their offices from Main Street to a bigger office space on Broad Street. This added to the current trend of the few last years where vacancy rates in Whitehall for businesses are at an all-time low, which means the demand for new space like that of Norton Crossing is needed even now more than ever. And while we have increased employment opportunities in Whitehall to the tune of 2,300 net new jobs since I became mayor, we are also focused on ensuring that we're leaving no one behind. One of the ways that we're working on this is through dynamic partnerships with organizations like Restore Whitehall. I want to personally thank the Franklin County Commissioners for their continued financial support of Restore Whitehall programming. The work that Restore Whitehall is doing, they identify families in need and they assist them, and what they're doing to assist them is remarkable. Being able to provide the level of service to Whitehall families and remove the barriers of preventing employment or creating obstacles that lead to a cycle of dependence is only made possible through the support of Franklin County and what they're doing to support Restore Whitehall. With rising home values, new jobs, businesses, and providing assistance to those who need it, it would seem like a natural thing to take a moment to enjoy the progress we've made. However, I subscribe to the philosophy that if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. And that's why we must continue. And so we begin the process of planning how our community will develop over the next decade and beyond. If you don't know where you're going, you won't know how to get there. To assist the city in this undertaking, we engaged OHM advisors to help us create a comprehensive development plan. And this blueprint was developed with significant input from residents, business owners, community stakeholders, and others. And it's going to be an essential tool that will focus our ambitious goals and create action steps to obtain them. Goals such as incorporating transit in a meaningful way in new developments, utilizing our density, increasing connectivity to public green space, and ensuring that everyone has access to safe and secure housing are addressed in this plan. It's my goal to add 1,500 new residential units within the city in the coming decade, and to ensure that 20% of these new units are affordable and workforce housing. Now, I invite everyone to join us at next Tuesday's City Council meeting, where OHM and the development staff will present a draft of this new plan. One of the focus areas in the blueprint sits diagonally across the street from Norton Crossing. I'm happy to report that we've taken possession of 292 of the units at Woodcliff Condominiums and are working diligently toward reaching a resolution that will finally end a decade-long public nuisance and environmental court proceeding. This has been a long time coming. In fact, I've been told it's the longest-running case in Franklin County's environmental court in the history of their environmental court. All told, the public nuisance case brought against Woodcliff Condominiums by the city and the Franklin County Board of Health has had 4 different judges, 4 court-appointed receivers, countless attorneys, multiple appeals through the Court of Appeals, a blight designation by the City Council, and has been declared a public nuisance twice by the Environmental Court. But as Judge Hawkins stated in his ruling approving the sale, history has shown there is no other viable way to enforce the court's order to permanently abate the public nuisance conditions at Woodcliff Condominiums. City officials and community stakeholders are eager to abate this public nuisance and to begin a transformative project in one of the most visible gateways of our city. The potential for residential, commercial, and retail development knows no bounds, and we have a great staff spearheading our innovative solutions. Now I would like to invite Zack Woodruff, our Director of Development, to give us some additional details regarding the development opportunities to come.
Thank you, Mayor. Over the next 10 years, we will redevelop 75 acres at the Broad and Hamilton intersection. 75. These redevelopments promise such exciting opportunities. And together, we will work towards the type of development that will shape Whitehall for a generation. We envision new businesses and employers, new parkland, architecture that reflects current design standards with integrated transportation and new residential housing to seize on the population growth to come. The first development is one that we've known for quite a while now, the Norton Crossing mixed-use project I highlighted last year. We have spent the past 5 months finalizing right-of-way plans, sewer easements, getting approvals from the City of Columbus Division of Water, and working with the Parks Department to fine-tune the public park that will anchor the development. We are pleased that construction is scheduled to begin within the next 30 days. The next site is what we have a working title called the Community Park Southern Gateway. And this is the 14-acre site that was part of the former driving range and where the golf dome sat. We've been under pre-site development with our engineer, Ymca, for the past 6 months. We've performed the necessary soil compaction testing and conducted traffic studies to ensure the development can occur properly. Based on the layout, more than 210,000 square feet of new office can fit within this footprint. And we are confident that the site will generate strong interest once companies and developers understand how they can connect to and really become part of Whitehall Community Park. We expect to officially list this property sometime early next quarter. And finally, as the mayor mentioned, we are finalizing the acquisition of the Woodcliff Condominium property. And while we continue to work towards finalizing the acquisition, we have begun the process of understanding and formalizing our aspirational goals for the property. Once demolition is complete, these 35 acres should be positioned to not only shape the city's landscape, but also be used to further our efforts in critical areas. Areas like transit and public transportation. Transportation should play a key role in how we redevelop the Woodcliff site. And we reached out to our partners at CODA to seek their input. But we are also working to understand how do we incorporate Lime Bike and the electric scooter and zip car and ride sharing in all types of transportation so that the redevelopment truly becomes multimodal and accessible for everyone. Another area of focus is on affordability. Our primary plans suggest the site can accommodate 1 million square feet of new construction and upwards of 700 residential units. And as the mayor said earlier, we believe that to truly move our community forward, to move the needle, so to speak, we must ensure that a portion of the new units created in this redevelopment are workforce housing units. I believe one way to ensure this long-term goal is by partnering with organizations like the Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation and its land trust to guarantee 20% of the housing units on this site remain affordable. As I've said before, we have to be a community that creates the housing for the individual buying the $4 cup of coffee and the individual making the $4 cup of coffee. It has been nearly 70 years since there were 75 acres at Broad and Hamilton to redevelop. And I am confident that together with all of you, we will shape the future of this intersection for the next 70 years. Thank you all.
Thank you, Zack, for that very exciting update. Now, creating opportunities for everyone is really important and a foundation to move our community forward. It's also the key component of our annual Opportunity Ambassador Awards. These awards are presented to those who have demonstrated their willingness to invest and create opportunities and improve the lives of others. I'm so very pleased to present the first Opportunity Ambassador Award to local investor and developer Mark Taggart with the Mark F. Taggart Company. Now, you might as well come on up, Mark. Yeah. Come up, stand right here. Many of you may remember the old Oasis manufacturing facility that used to be on the corner of Poth and Hamilton, empty and falling apart. Mark and his partners were some of the first outside developers to take a chance on Whitehall in 2013. Their work, capital investment, and understanding of our vision resulted in Air South and 2 developments. Since demolition of more than 400,000 square feet of new Class A industrial, these buildings have been built. In what was once 35 acres of empty buildings and underutilized land now houses 6 new companies to Whitehall's, and they're employing hundreds of people. So, Mark, thank you so much. And thank you for continually investing in our community. Thank you so much. We surprised him. The second Opportunity Ambassador Award goes to Whitehall residents Michael and Joy Bivens. Joy says, for what? And I said, okay, I'm going to tell you. Now, the Bivens family has been active members of our community for a long time. Joy is a former Whitehall School Board member and currently serves as the National Association of Counties and Human Services and Educational Policy Steering Committee. Wow, that's a lot to say. Since 2016, she's been leading the Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services as director. And as director, she oversees more than 600 employees who work to improve the lives of Franklin County residents every day by ensuring that no one is forced to go without the basic essentials of food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and other services. And Michael has dedicated his life to the service of others. Prior to going to college, he served in the United States Marine Corps during Operation Desert Storm. And in 2015, Michael was elected city attorney. He has certainly left his mark on our community. During his first 4 years in office, Michael and his staff created a collaboration with the Columbus Urban League to facilitate criminal reform in our mayor's court. He has encouraged the Whitehall Yearling High School mock trial program to become a class and assisted the students in their statewide mock trial competition. He revamped the duties of the Domestic Victims Violence Advocate to improve its service to the community, and as partners with the workforce development of Goodwill Columbus, he was a summer youth site, or he worked at a summer youth site for youth wanting to work in an office setting. In addition, now after all this, they both visited the juvenile detention center twice a month for over a year and brought pizza and soda and encouraging words to these youth. How awesome is that? I mean, that's... They are doing the work of the community because they care. So let's congratulate Joy and Michael and say thank you. The City of Whitehall continued its strides as a community of opportunity in 2018. Business growth rose, new developments took shape, recreation offerings expanded, residential investment and value increased, and our Safety Forces initiative were as targeted as ever. City officials, we work diligently every day to serve the residents of Whitehall, and we want to make sure that we're always creating opportunities for all, because this is our core mission. I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Wasserstrom for hosting us once again. And as I've said before, may we all seize upon the opportunities before us. Thank you and good night.